Hello, beautiful peasants, and welcome back to the tavern. Today we're sculpting this really cool, sultry, evil-looking demon Oni princess. I'm very excited. It's something I found on Pinterest. I'm always looking for things that feel inspiring or cool to do on stream, so this is what I found this week. Speaking of, if you guys ever find like cool little concepts on Pinterest or whatever, feel free to shoot them over to me and then I'll kind of do my own little version of them. Very, very fun. But yes, how are we doing? I see Paint is here yelling in the chat, and so is my husband. Hello to both of y'all. Speaking of Paint, at the end of this, I'm going to review your posed character. Looking forward to that. I saw that the file size is still 2 gigs, which is ridiculous. But I know a big part of that is that you save your undo history, which is normal. I'm weird. I don't do that. I just save a bunch of quick saves and do it that way. But yes, how are y'all doing? How was your weekend? Tell me about it. I had my cow sorting clinic, so it's just you're on horses, you got a group of cattle, and you try to split a cow off the herd. That's all it is, pretty much. Much easier said than done, because obviously the cows want to stay together. It was super fun. I've never done it before. Had a great time. We did that all day Saturday and Sunday, and on Sunday it poured rain. So yeah, wrangling cattle in the rain and mud is probably the coolest thing I've ever done. I've never been so cold in my life. I was freezing. But I had a really good time. I had a really, really good time. I got better by the end of it, which always feels good. And my horse is fantastic. Spartan did really well. He's a big old thoroughbred. He's not a cow horse, but he did his best. And he did not lose his shit or throw me. So, good boy. Oh, goodness. Paint's like, wait, what? I do save my undos. Yes, which is normal. That's it's saved in by default. So you have unique undo history for every single subtool, which I thought was excessive. So I disabled that pretty early on. It's a really powerful tool depending how you use it. If I want my undo history, what I do instead is I save it as a layer, which means I can slide those effects up and down as I please. So let's say we have a sphere, okay? And I save a layer, and then I sculpt it into a cube. Bear with me. Because I saved it as a layer, I can go back and forth like a slider, like a morph target almost, on that layer, and it will become more sphere-like or more cube-like, depending on where I'm at that slider, which to me is a lot more helpful than just straight undo history. But yeah. Paint's tired, visited mom in the hospital. I hope she's feeling better. That can be tough, and I feel like whenever there's a season change, there's usually like kind of a wave of sickness that kind of goes with that. Speaking of, I need to get my flu shot and go to the doctor. It's been a hot minute since I've been to a doctor. I'm feeling fine. I just know you're supposed to do that. Alrighty. Well, it's a good quiet little evening here, or afternoon here, Wednesday. Let's see, it's noonish. I made this really, really fantastic beef stew yesterday, so I'm already excited for that. I'm planning on today's stream to be about 2 hours, as short as an hour and a half, as long as 2.5 hours. And we'll see how far we can get on this demon princess. Alright, so anything that I sculpt today, I will be sharing the assets with my students. They're not... that's a weird way to phrase that. Let me rephrase that. Do whatever you want with them. It's really fun to modify, make new outfits from, for example, when I'm done making this bodice right here, I can use my pen so you can see it. Making this bodice right here, you could modify it and so it does cover the shoulder, or maybe these plates right here, you have 4 layers instead of just 2, that kind of thing. So really play with it, experiment, have fun. What I was gonna say is oh, it's not 3D print ready, and I'm like, it's a weird habit that I think I have and a lot of people have, where instead of describing things for what they are, you describe what they're not. I don't know, I noticed myself doing it and I'm like, that is such a weird way to communicate and it's so unclear. So I'm trying to be what is it as opposed to what it's not. Anyway, yes, students will get all the things I sculpt today. They're really fun. Mix and match and modify as you please. If you make new stuff with it and share it or sell it, I don't care if you credit me or not. Just make sure you meaningfully changed it. You weren't just nudge and then you're now it's different and now it's mine. That's not true. Make it truly derivative and truly cool. Hello, JW, welcome in. I believe it was you that just got a 3D printer and talked about it in our Discord. I actually took yesterday off, which is very unlike me. I usually, work a normal Monday through Friday. But again, after the cow clinic this weekend, I was so sore. And like on Monday, I'm like, okay, back to work, push through. And then on Tuesday, I'm like, I can't move. I am so exhausted. I'm just gonna take a breather. The peasants not take a breather though. You guys are being hysterical in the chat. I really enjoy that. Yes, JW ordered my A1 Mini. Hopefully it arrives this week and I'm too excited. Oh, I'm so excited for you. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Very cool. Anything from Bamboo, it's pretty click and print. It's pretty fantastic. Printing minis, if that's what you're like looking to do, printing minis on FDM is a lot more difficult than resin, right? But the plus side is you can, one, it's like plastic, I think it feels a little better. And then two, you can print big things much easier. If you want to print like, I don't know, a cool light switch cover or like a holder for your, like a mug or something like that, that's a lot easier to do with FDM. If you are looking for FDM friendly minis, I recently did a Kickstarter this year. Again, the files are all on Patreon. But anyway, where I shared FDM settings along with resin settings. There's a few artists that do that, so just keep an eye out for them because they'll make the process a lot less frustrating because it's tricky, right? Anything 3D printing, it's not quite click and print, but we're getting there. It's getting better every year, so I'm excited. Cow clinic, veterinarian work. Oh, clinic just meaning like a teaching session, trial, or whatever. I was learning how to sort cattle. I understand clinic. You're right. Like, think more like clinicals. So like or like practicals, where you are doing the thing. It is funny it's called a clinic though. That sounds very medical, doesn't it? A lot of people think that I have a background in the medical field too. That comes up all the time. We're like, oh, are you a nurse? And I'm like, nope. I sculpt dragons for a living. Yeah. But yeah, super fun. Sorting cattle in the rain. Well, only on Sunday, but that was a very memorable day. My goodness. Very cool. JW says, yeah, I've been doing research. Good. I've seen some work around print profiles, creating types of supportless minis. Yes. Tree supports are a good way to go. The resin to FDM plugin. Is that a thing? Not obsessive at all. I'm the same way. Like when I go into something, I'm like all in. Like that's all I'm doing. Okay. That's enough chatting. That's enough warm up. Let's get to some sculpting, shall we? All right, so this is our lovely gal here. We are creating this outfit. I am going to start with the bodice and then I'm going to move maybe to the boots or the skirt or whatever, but we're going to start with the bodice. So yeah, here's how I break that down. I have my stuff more ready this time so I can do these little like draw overs because I know that's been really helpful for my students to kind of visualize what the heck I'm doing and how I'm seeing these shapes. All right, so at a glance, what is this bodice? What does it look like? I like to kind of just draw over it and kind of see it. That's kind of like a little more of a detailed shape. I usually try to make it even more simple than that. This is what I call like the primary shape. So it's just like it's just a triangle. So when I'm sculpting this, I want to make sure that I am not making anything flowy, something that really fits to the body and to get this like triangle shape as much as possible. The sharper I make this look, the more dramatic, her figure is going to look. You don't need to modify the base mesh. You don't actually need to crush their organs and, well, their mesh organs, non-existent organs into nothing. It's just like an illusion. So having this broader silhouette here, and then again at the hips. And then you kind of will naturally create this shape that looks sucked in without having to just pinch everything. All right, so it looks like there's two pieces here. Again, this is like some AI. So if you look at it, it's really kind of blurry in the details. This is where you come in as an artist. You're like, let's make this make sense. Let's make this really cool. All right, I do like that this bodice piece here is separate from the like underwear essentially. So we have this piece here and then we have a second one on top. So that's how we are going to approach this in two different sections here. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing I do is select my base mesh and I'm going to make the wireframe visible so it's easier to see. And because this is going to be fitted to her body, I can just mask on the body itself. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect, You can kind of see I'm going in for like that tank top like shape that we talked about earlier. And then you want to look at like points of the body as references. So like her belly button would be about here. And then you can kind of see like the distance between her belly button and like the end of this little like bodice piece here. So right here, you can see that I have this a bit too low. And it's like, well, how much does that really matter, Mia? Like, it matters a lot. Proportions are everything. Again, details get all the credit, all these like sequins and shinies and fabric folds or whatever. Proportions are everything though. If you put frosting, you know, on a pillow or a rock, there we go, it doesn't make it like a delicious cake. You gotta bake a nice cake first. Okay, I hope that made any sense. All right, here we go, pretty happy with that. You can clean it up a little bit using mask pen. Mask lasso just works so quickly, I love using that first. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Make sure your selection is mask that you like, and then you can extract that. There's so many different ways that you can approach this. That's why I don't show my UI, because I think people get really bogged down on, here I have Booleans enabled, stop that. They get bogged down on like the technique of it, and there's just so many different ways to do it, and it's not really what matters. You need to understand why you're doing things, not so much like what just specific buttons to click. Obviously, when you're brand new, like you need to know what buttons to click. You need to know like how to grab a brush, how to move your character around, that kind of stuff. But what you're seeing me do right here, there are so many different ways you could approach this, and none of them are wrong. There are ways that I think are more correct, but I've kind of learned to stop teaching in that way, because I've had students that make their own processes, and even though I thought they'd be slower, by the time like my students have created their own like workflow, it just works so much better for them. So I want to encourage that as much as possible. All right, so I've extracted this piece here. You could have also duplicated your base mesh, polygrouped it, delete hidden. Again, there's so many different ways you can do this. I'm gonna kind of like fit this piece to her now. I really have liked working on like this pitch black like mannequin base, because it allows me to like really clearly see the asset that I'm creating. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Just getting that initial shape down. You can turn on transparency if you want to really see how it fits to the body as well. I tend to make my base meshes a little bit more on the muscular side. I find it easier to tone a body down rather than build it up. Great, so we have that first piece. Let's pick a kind of like the silvery color. Maybe I could even just pick like a fun metal. Anything down here, these standard materials will react to the lighting that you created. Everything up here, these matte caps, they're baked in. So if you want to have control, the most control over your scene, you want something down here usually. All right, I think there's one called Z Metal that I like a lot. Trying to read, there it is. There we go. All right, now let's create this kind of like underwear piece. Clear that mask from before. There we are. Hello, Reefer, welcome in. How have you been? How is fall treating ya? Oh, I have to sneeze. Am I going to? Or is it fake? Fake sneeze. Oh, my eyes are watering now. Okay. Hello, Wendelia, welcome in. JW mentions it's the same in environmental art. It's all about silhouette working. Exactly, exactly. I'm making these pretty high-waisted because even though they're underwear shaped, we won't actually have any midriff showing. I retopologize this, not by hand, I just use ZRemesher. If you want even more control, of course, you can like bring this into Maya, or even in ZBrush, you can retopologize by hand. I'm just so used to hearing it being retopo. This has that like, what is it? 80s aerobic workout sort of high cut. And then don't worry about it being perfect. Truly just get the shape good enough. It's going to look fantastic faster than you think, like truly. You just need to be patient and not rush steps. If you do, you're gonna have to just come back to the base form and fix it anyway. All right, this is even a higher cut. How funny. There we go. And then there was another piece that when I was doing that little like draw over to see what all I'm constructing that I didn't do. And now that I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, that would have been an interesting one to point out to you guys. Let's review. So what I said in the beginning here when I was approaching this, I was like, okay, we have like this top piece here, and then we also have this like underwear section, right? But what I missed, and I'm realizing now, is there's actually like these hip tassets on either side right here. You see these? And I kind of blobbed over them. But yeah, that's why you do the little draw overs, or why I do them, because I still miss pieces sometimes. So let's go ahead and do that. For these hip tassets, I'm gonna grab mask lasso because the mask brush will go all the way through. See, so it also masks the back of the mesh, which is perfect because I want these to kind of wrap around, again, like their tassets, like a piece of armor. Reaper says they're hanging in there. Good, that's the best I think you can do, right? I mean, it'd be nice if everything was perfect and you were super happy, but if you're hanging in there, you know what? That's something. I like it. I'm going to be visiting a friend I haven't seen in a very long time over Halloween, probably. Very, very excited. He has a new lady friend. He was definitely our really close friend that was like chronically single. Not for lack of being a great guy though. He's getting his PhD and he's a fairly introverted guy too. What is this? Steampunk robot bird head? I don't know what that's grabbing. Anyway, very, very excited because he's got a new lady friend and they are like in love, and it's just fantastic. He's not the guy to get super excited about relationships. Not that he doesn't try, but what I'm trying to say is he found his person and I'm very excited about it and I'm very excited to meet her. It's going to be great. We FaceTime with him a few times a month, so we have met her like digitally, but I'm excited to like see her in person, and yes, it's going to be a really good time. I want there to be a couple layers here. Because again, I want to follow this like pretty faithfully in terms of silhouette, but bringing some like intention to the design. Some thoughtfulness. Once I get these base shapes in, I really start kind of pushing and refining what's going to look best. So right now I kind of like pulled out that rib cage bump and then her breast on top of that, not the other way around. Also, the bottom of this flares out a touch. So what I can do is I can mask that, grab my gizmo and just increase the size. That didn't work very well, did it? Huh, let's make this larger. It's like I got an idea here. And then polish my features. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that flare to happen naturally. I'll lose that little point right here, but that's very easy to go back and just add. There we go. I could have also used a ZBrush and extruded that edge. Again, back to the technique comment I mentioned in the beginning. There's just so many different ways that you can do it. And it's always like, well, isn't there a right way? And I'm like, maybe. It really just depends on the person. And the reason why I say that too is because a proper technique isn't worth anything if you can't do it or you can't remember it, you know? And some of these techniques, I mean, you're saving seconds, truly. So there's plenty of room to just do what you prefer. All right, now that I have this bodice blocked out, let's go ahead and just tackle the entire silhouette here. Let's just keep going. I'm not gonna worry about her leggings. I pause when I say that because there's some really nice little tight fabric folds I can show you guys how to do right here. Why not? I'll do all of it. So for the leggings, we are simply going to mask the entire piece here. And these are going to be very, very form fit. Maziri mesh by Same to really keep it as tight to that body as possible. And then go with that shiny black color. There we are. Now let's start with this like thigh-high boot. I'm not nearly as afraid of doing shoes as I used to be, so yay for that. I do have a hard time with shoes though, so let's break it down. I'll show you guys how I'm gonna approach it. So obviously at a glance, they're just like this really pretty, dramatic, like sickle shape. But what's really happening there? Well, we have a knee piece that we need to not forget about. So this section here. And then there's a lot of really cool layering. So the way that I'm gonna approach this is I have a section on top here. Let's make that a little skinnier. And then I'll have this overlapping knee section. And that'll be its own piece entirely that I'll wrap around. And then fitting under that, we have the part of the boot that wraps around the calf. And then finally the actual like shoe itself, which I will actually draw over this piece here, just so it's a little more clear. So we have 4 pieces that we're dealing with here. And then the shoe itself will be a couple pieces because we'll have the heel as its own subtool or polygroup, whatever you want it to be, it's up to you. The sole of the shoe and then the top of it, which I always forget what it's called, is the rest of it. But we won't worry about that. We're gonna do just these basic shapes first and then we can build off from there. So I'm gonna do it pretty much in that exact order. Since we already have these leggings here, I'm gonna build off of these instead of building off of the body. So I'm going to duplicate the leggings, pick the same color as this top that we have here. And then we're gonna mask, here we go, that thigh section. Technically speaking, it would actually run all the way down the length of the leg. It's one connected piece, but for the way that I'm constructing this, this is a little bit easier. I'll do Command W to polygroup it, delete hidden, and then polish by features. So we have that nice piece there. So I really don't want the silhouette getting away from me, so you might see me taking the body and tucking it in a little bit, or the leggings. I'm gonna pull it off her leg just a tiny bit here, and then really pay attention to like the curves. I always mention like, is it concave or is it convex? Just see, is it curving like away from you or towards you? It's very important to notice that. So right here it is curving up, and I have mine coming down. Little things like that are not little. They actually make a huge difference in the way that the design reads and all that good stuff. There we go. Not gonna worry about the back too much. All right, let's make that little knee piece. And again, I'm gonna duplicate a section off of the leggings, polygroup it, delete hidden, and then polish by features. Kind of shaping them a little bit here. I'm just using my move brush. I really want you guys to notice, especially my students, how few tools I'm really using here. It's not like a bunch of brushes. It's just the same techniques over and over and over again, really. The magic is knowing what you want it to look like, honestly. If you don't have a clear visualization of what kind of shape you're going for, it's not gonna magically just happen. I've tried. There we go. Start getting some of that, you know, that sharper point here, which is gonna mirror the bottom of the bodice right here. I'm doing the same thing right here. And again, I don't care if it's perfect. We're just starting to, like, you know, dip our toe into those secondary forms. And then last but not least, this little bottom section here. Actually, that's second. That's a third out of four pieces. There we go. There we are. Again, these pretty much just fit her leg exactly, and there are some really subtle secondary forms we're gonna have here, kind of like overlapping plate mail is almost the effect it's gonna have. But in the beginning here, you just want that base shape. Don't worry about anything other than its simplest form, okay? All right, time for those shoes. Hey, Sater's here. Hello, hello. Key capture here gonna give me a seizure. I know, right? I warned y'all, or I'm like, it's kind of helpful, it's kind of not. I do a lot of clicking. I have one bad habit I'm trying to fix, which is every time I bring up the 3D gizmo, I click Q first. See, I did it right there. Because I don't remember off the top of my head which one it is. So I click both, which is very unhelpful. Everything else I do is correct and to follow. I'm really trying to fix that so that way when I have students that are trying to, learn, they can know what button it is. It's W. It's W for 3D gizmo and Q for draw mode, not QW for the 3D gizmo. Anyway. Seder, how have you been? So for this, I'm going to duplicate the entire female base mesh. And the reason why I'm not masking a piece off of it is because there's like little toenails and toes, and I really just want the entire foot shape. We're not doing toe boots. You know those weird like finger toe shoes? You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, so what I do is, I'm just gonna mask the entire foot, delete hidden, and then close holes and Dynamesh at a low resolution. There you go. And that's how we're gonna get that little sock shape. Much easier than masking, extracting, polishing. See, I did it again, QW. All right, anyway. And I'll zero mesh by half just to kind of clean up that shape a little bit. All right, I'm taking this section right here and kind of pulling this down to get that, again, secondary, sharper feature. We're just doing points. Everything comes down to a point. All right, looks pretty good. And last but not least, let's go ahead and add a heel, which for that, I'm just simply going to grab a cube, size it down, not spin it around, and just stick it on her foot. There are more subtleties to heels and how they fit, and they do taper and whatnot. But again, we are not worried about that yet. The last thing I'm going to do is bend the toe of the shoe up just a little bit. And I'm not super pressed about the feet fitting perfectly. I'm just gonna cut her toes off. All right, because your feet move in your shoes. They bend. I'm not concerned about that, which is different than when I'm doing like the bodice, for example, where I really want to fit correctly. That does not move as much. Yes, even like in a corset, it does not squish as much as you think. All right, blocking out is going well. Oh, I like it. We're trying to, the finger toe shoes give me the heebie-jeebies, right? I know some people swear by it, but I'm like, yeah, no. And then Seder says, Q looks like a hand holding a pencil. And W has 3 points, one for each axis in the gizmo. That's compelling. That might just work for my little brain. I might just like really grab onto that. There's certain things my brain is like, ooh, interesting. Unfortunately, I don't always have say over what my brain grabs onto and what it doesn't, but it's promising. It's pretty good. JW says, this all looks like wizardry to me. I've never spent this much time outside of Dynamesh. Oh, really? Interesting. Which, to be clear, Dynamesh is fantastic for early shapes and stuff. More so for like, I mean, it could be for anything. I would not recommend using Dynamesh for early garment creation unless you are doing that weird thing where you Dynamesh onto the body, sculpt on that, and extract off of that whole shape. I've seen that before. It's similar to what I'm doing, but anyway, same, but different. Hello, Empress. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oh, Stream Element says, thank you to Lightseeker for subscribing. I forgot that's even a thing. Not subscribing, but that. There's little notifications. I don't think anything's been popping up on my stream though. I'll have to troubleshoot that. But cool, you got a shout out in the chat. All right, let's continue. just gonna keep these the same color so they're easy to see. And now we're gonna work on the sleeves. Oh, Duke's here. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, how dare you? I hope you had a restorative weekend wrestling cows. Restorative? No. Memorable, fantastic character building, as I say, because goddamn, I was tired. Yes, definitely. It was fantastic. And of course, I took no freaking pictures. I'm so sorry, guys. I did you an injustice. I looked like a drowned rat. It was great. It was great. Oh my gosh. I haven't been that cold since I did my scuba diving certification. Sater says, yeah, they're weird and unnecessary in my opinion. We're talking about finger, shoe, toes. The shoes that like grab your toes. Anyway, they look like feet. All right, Sater says, yeah, they're weird and unnecessary in my opinion. I like barefoot shoes, but not the toe shoes. Your toes are going to all stay together anyway. That's true. If they don't, chances are one is breaking. Also true. This is very fair. I never thought of it like that. All right, we're gonna start working on the sleeves here. All right, so again, this is another thing when you're like dealing with like AI concepts and making them fun and look good. We got this funny thing here where it's like off of like the bodice. We have this fabric piece, which again, you can make work, but that's kind of dumb. No. I can imagine when I moved my arm, it would pull like my chest. No. Okay. So what we're going to do instead is we're gonna have this little section here. That's going to be fabric, some of the few pieces of fabric we have here. And then we're gonna have this metal section here, which kind of looks more like fabric, but I'm gonna make it more metal, similar to like the hip tassets here. And then last, I think, it depends if I'm considering the claw gloves as part of this or not. We'll have the rest of this. There we go. And then I'll treat the claws as their own thing entirely. All right, we've got 3 pieces to make. Let's get to it. First thing I'm gonna do is this little drapery piece here, which is me right under the deltoid. Why do I even mention that? It's just kind of like the way it fits on the body. It's kind of nice to have like landmarks. And that's gonna start creating this kind of more of that princessy look. There we go, piece 1 complete, I think. I mean, see, that's why I mentioned the deltoid thing, because I immediately put it way too low. Yeah, it's much more up. There we go. And now for this metal section here, which will kind of just grab, what are these called? Sater told me. Rear braces. Yes. I remembered. There we are. And I do want the edge of this to kind of flare out. So we're gonna do 2 things here. One, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm actually gonna delete this poly loop on here using the ZBrush. There we are. And then I'll hover over the edge, click on extrude, and then poly loop again. And we're gonna do this. See? I find that's the easiest way to get like this little flared out shape without having to do it manually. Then even by polish by features, it still keeps it quite well. As I mentioned earlier, I'm probably gonna layer up a few of those, but that's gonna come later. All right, looking good. And the only reason why I'm doing like the leggings and the sleeves, that's the word, sleeves, is because I do want to show you guys how these little tight fabric folds we end up having time. Spoiler alert, it's just a standard brush, but I know it's tricky sculpting fabric, so I never want to skip opportunities to show you guys. All right, that went pretty quick. I think I'm gonna leave the hands alone, not worry about doing the gloves, but I will do these like ridiculous fun claws. Speaking of, here is how I do claws. I just import a sphere, and by import, I simply go to append. You can also do insert. They do the exact same thing. It just affects like what order your subtools are listed. But again, it doesn't matter because you can just move them around later too. All right, sphere. Sphere, stretch sphere, taper. I'm using the gizmo for this. And last but not least, bend arc. I really like it to keep the full length of it. I don't care if it looks ridiculous because it's easier to make this shorter and trim pieces off than to make it longer and continue that arc correctly. Yeah, building that true grid. Absolutely. Doing that cowboy shit. Sater said, Mia, your responsibility is to enjoy the experience, not documenting for us. But boo, no pictures. I know, I know. Oh, goodness. Oh my goodness. Sater's new saying, they mentioned, yeah, the road's been a little rocky lately. My new go-to saying is, the nightmare persists. But so too do I. I like that. That is, what is it? He's a poet. Edgar Allan Poe-esque. That's what it feels like. I like it. Live in the dream, but nightmares are dreams too. That is fair. That is fair. Duke said, Mia, are you doing the traditional Oni teeth on the mask as well? Absolutely. Again, I don't like this little like weird face that she has, this little mouth thing. We're gonna do like teeth. So I'll probably grab a different reference for that when we get there. All right, just claw time. We're gonna do the thumb last because that's gonna kind of mess with the silhouette. Just like a reminder, when you're putting claws on, as you go to different fingers, make sure you like size up or size down since your fingers are different sizes. Not by a ton, just like a little bit. Because trust me, it just looks weird. Like the finger, like the pinky claw is as long as the thumb claw. It looks weird, but you won't quite know why. You'll just look at it and be like, All right, do you want that being visible? I'm looking at my reference here because these are really dramatic actually, and I kind of want to keep that. I'm going to undo this quite a lot here and stretch this more than I expected to. There we go. All right, how long are these? My goodness. It's like the length of her whole hand and then some. Again, you'll see me do this a lot where I'm like, I go into it with like very specific measurements. Because like, yeah, it's good to, you know, develop artistic eye, all that kind of stuff. But also if you can cheat and have references, do that. All right, I think I finally got that in the spot that I like. These are kind of tricky to position, aren't they? They're a bit ridiculous. And yeah, they go way too far up her hand, but we're not worried about that. The way I'm duplicating them really quickly is holding Command and clicking on the gizmo and dragging. Hello, Otaka, welcome in. How was D&D? I'm sad that I missed it. There we go. All right, now that I have all these pieces, it should be in the same subtool. Why are you so difficult to see? I guess it's kind of high res. Let's go ahead and decimate this. All I'm doing is taking the poly count and lowering it. There we go. And then looking at my reference here, again, it has like a bit of like a nice curve on the end here versus mine are all on the same plane, which I don't like. So I will need to adjust that a bit. The longest one should be the middle finger. Doesn't need to be perfect, it's just kind of having them on their own little curve here. There we are. All right, those look gnarly. I'm pretty happy with that. Also, I have it named a single sub tool. And I do share these with students, so let's make this a little more usable. I'm just gonna call this thigh. Big. And then the shoe and the heel can be one piece. There we are. All right, we are all named now, except for the leggings. Perfect. All right, you can see that everything is actually named now. Before it was just like extract 1, extract 2, extract 3. Excellent. Most of the pieces are here. Now time to get that skirt and that flowy goodness going. This has been a fun piece. Also looking at this again, I think I'm going to split this into another section, having kind of this top collar, just so I have some better seams. We're not getting distracted. We're doing that later, not right now. All right, so the skirt is really easy to do. Let me go ahead and show you guys. I'm going to grab my mask lasso brush, just like that. And now I use my mask pen to kind of clean it up. Again, it's really important that you pay attention to where is this fitting. So what is the purpose of the skirt? It's just to be pretty, right? It's not functional. So what's gonna be the prettiest spot? And that's gonna be flowing off of the hip right here. It's kind of contributing, giving like that snatched look. So by keeping that illusion, you wanna make sure it looks like it's connecting to like right under those tassets, which is, I think I got it the first try. Yes, very good. And then it's open right here. Perfect. Just taking a little extra time, like your prep, goes so freaking far. All right, now that I have that, extract. And the ZBrush in half. I'm gonna turn on double, otherwise we're not gonna be able to see this darn thing. See, you can't even see it. So turn on double, that just means that even though it's just one polygon, you'll see both sides of it. All right, and this is like the really fun, satisfying part. So come back with your mask lasso brush. Make sure you got the entire bottom of it. Probably easier to do it from the side. Excellent. Now that you have that little bottom part masked, hold Command, click, W, and this is the best part, so satisfying. You drag this straight down and then just increase the size. That never gets old. I freaking love doing that. Your topology is gonna be all goofed up. Worry not. Just go to ZBrush and same. Sometimes it will blow up your mesh. If it does, you can sneak over into your geometry settings and put some panel loops on that. Is it panel loops or edge loops? The one that doesn't add thickness. I forget which one it is. Anyway, you'll know which one it is. If it adds thickness, you did it wrong. Anyway, and that will help it keep shape. All right, I'm going to inflate this a touch more. And then use my move brush to kind of kick it out a bit further even. Okay, if you get this thing where it starts like glitching out, it's not glitching out, it's because on the solo button, which is under transform, that means solo, it'll just show one subtool. There's a tiny button on the button called dynamic. Make sure you didn't accidentally click that. There's a lot of buttons. There we go. And this is why I wasn't like super worried about how like her underwear armor was fitting, because like you're not even gonna see the back of it. I do want it to fit under these tassets still though. Oh, that's her underwear. Nope, not that. That's a whole Superman look we're not going for. Gosh, that is fun. Looking pretty good. How are we doing? Oh, Reaper has to go to work. See y'all later. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping in. Otaka says, it was fun. I met the new guy and we didn't die. Oh, I'm so glad. Again, I was so bummed out that I couldn't go to D&D last weekend, but again, wrangling cows. And then Ella is here. Hello, good morning. It's been a bit. Hope you've been well. And then Sager said, just had a thought. I wonder if you were to make something like this in real life, the clawed gauntlet thing. You'd be better off to extend the claws off the middle segment of each finger. Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, I think of those like women with really long acrylic nails and they don't seem to be hindered by them. But I feel like it would be more comfortable, you're right, if it was off that, middle section. That's a good point. It would look weird in 3D, but practically, I think it'd work better. Yeah, because you could close your hand and make a fist. Yeah, exactly. Instead of just like shanking yourself. Aloha is here. Hello, hello. We had all 3 mods today. Check that on your bingo card. Gotcha. It would be fast. Yeah, thinking about the finger claws specifically. I get you. I like that. Duke is also talking about this. All right, looking pretty good. I didn't plan on doing her hair and blocking that out, but if you guys have an opinion on it, I will put that as a poll. All right, there's a poll up right now about the hair. I'm gonna default to not doing it. If you want me to see me block that out, I'm more than happy to. All right, we're really trying to get this bodice to fit as snug as possible, as flattering as possible, without crushing an organ. I always give my like base meshes like huge lats. Not what I thought I was gonna say probably. Anyway, which is this muscle, which kind of like screws up my silhouette every now and then. So if you see me adjusting that, that's one spot I don't mind compromising on, because again, by default, my base mesh there is huge. All right, and what I mentioned earlier is I want to split off this top piece into its own collar section to have a little bit more control over this like turtleneck armor thing we have going on. So I'm gonna just take the bodice here, grab that, polygroup it, split it into its own section, and polish by features. Oh yeah, that's gonna be better. Because what I can do is I can continue that kind of like sharp overlapping thing. It's also gonna be very, very flattering across the chest. Beautiful. Oh, ZBrush was like, no, we are not doing that. That's fine. I'll just do it again later. All right, everyone wants to see the hair blocked out. Happy to do it. Because to me, it's not like, I don't know what's like the most interesting for you guys to see or what's not. I know it's like obviously like seeing the whole process, but to me, sometimes I'm like, oh, isn't that just the same thing? Like I don't see the subtlety in it. Oh, there's ZBrush being like, hey, I crashed. I know you did. You're fine. Well, if you missed me splitting the bodice into 2 pieces, here's your second chance. I mask it, polygroup with Command W, Command Shift click, mask it by holding Command and click. You'll see the stuff below me, but I think it helps for me to say it out loud too, because it's fast. I do use polish by features. There is a like special masking brush you can grab in Lightbox that will smooth that for you too, but I find polish by features does a really good job. I'm rarely like that picky about what the shape is going to look like either, so. I think I did ZBrush by half on this, and it kind of got a little, yeah, what is this? What is this? Oh, I had it as a different poly group. That's why. I was like, this does not look as good as it did last time. We're actually going to subdivide once and then ZBrush by same. There we go. There we go. I was like, okay. I know it can be confusing. Sometimes I want it really high poly. Sometimes I want it really low poly. It's like, why? Essentially, if I need more polys to get a like higher res shape, something that's more of a curve, you'll see me add polys back in. Empress, you have been cooking and working all kinds of stuff. So you especially, if I'm doing stuff that you're like, what? Ask, okay? You're turning into Aloha, where you don't message me often, but when you do, you have a ton of progress to show, which is really fun for me. It's kind of cool, like I see all my students go over like the same like pattern if you've been with me long enough. I think it's a confidence thing. You don't feel the need to check in as much because you're like, let me cook. I got this. I'm doing stuff. Oh my goodness. Seder, I almost read that out loud, but Aloha has got me on my toes. Oh my goodness. Duke says my OCD requires completion of projects. When we've done individual assets, I feel compelled to search until I find it on a completed model. Oh my lord. Oh my goodness. No, we don't need to explain that, Duke. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Seder, stop it. Okay, Empress said, yes, chef, I'm cooking something all right. I just don't know what the ingredients are. If that's not the sweetest, like... Oh my goodness. Oh, then Sean says, I don't think I can make it this time. Sorry, y'all. No worry, hun. Seder says, to think, a couple months ago, Empress was afraid to even open ZBrush. It's true. Time flies. Aloha said, Mia, if you watch that video from the lead 3D model artist of Hades, it's the short 5-minute videos, but it's so cool. Did you put it in the Discord? And then I just didn't watch it. I'm terrible at that. If you guys put stuff in the Discord and you want me to watch it specifically, and not just like, I'm like, me, I need to see this, you have to at me. It has to be like friend homework, otherwise I won't do it. Ella and Miguel know this. I don't even have Instagram or TikTok downloaded on my phone. And both of y'all send me reels still. And it's very sweet. And I'm like, oh no. I go through it about once a year or twice a year. And Ricky and I sit down and we go through all of them. Miguel sends me a bunch of ridiculous stuff about horses. It's very funny. I don't see it. But yeah, I will look at that later. Very cool. Speaking of, are any of y'all playing Hades 2? I have not played it yet. I've heard it is combat-wise better than the first one. Story-wise, not as much. Also, I believe in you, Empress. You got this. What makes these bodices look really good is having like clear delineation of where it's like boob versus ribcage versus like belly. And there should be a bump for each one of these things. Yeah, all three, honestly. Because if it was just like this and super smooth, I mean, there's corsets that look like that, which is fine. But with like this kind of fitted armor, it always looks better when there's some definition. Really just seeing how this fits. I think to get into much more definition than this, I'll need to go to the next resolution. So, not yet, because we don't even have all of our pieces done. I don't like how I did this collar on the sides. There we go. I was like, I'm missing. Where's that shoulder? We're good. Shoulder is in. I'm gonna use Damn Standard to kind of tighten this up right here. Just a touch. I did make the neck on this model especially long on purpose for drama's sake. There we go. There's like a clear plane change where it goes from like her chest to her neck. All right, we're gonna block out the hair and then finally the mask, which I am severely putting off. Okay, hair. So for hair, look at the base. You're gonna give him a little hair mint, like a helmet, but made of hair. Mask your little shape. This is one of the few times I extract with thickness. I think I do 0.02 by default. Yeah. Once you have that, I'm gonna Dynamesh it. Go with this black color here. Let's get that. There we go. All right, once you have this shape, I'm gonna kind of like fit it to her head. How come I painted that backwards? 1 second. I want my colors to be doing the color thing. Even if it's just different shades of gray. Don't say it. All right. There we go. Perfect. All right. Once you got your little hair mint, you can like start to define some shapes here. All of this is going to be pulled straight backwards, right? Because it's going to be swept back off of her head into this high bun, or I guess ponytail, I don't know what's going on there, and then super long hair. So step 1, what we will do is go over, you can append something, you can use the IMM brush, it really doesn't matter. Again, don't worry about the technique so much, just do what you like. Can't stress that enough. No technique purist. All right, gonna have our little blob here, and then as well as a ring, and this is gonna be that hair tie. There we go. I like to ZBrush the rings pretty low because you get this better edge on them, and I think they look more convincing. There we go. I'm gonna do like a few of them. Yeah, I think that looks cool. Excellent. We will keep that a silvery color to contrast with her darker hair. There we are. All right. Whenever you see me click number 9, I'm doing that to force a quick save. So every time I do that, that means I thought, ZBrush made the slightest hesitation and I don't trust it. It's probably gonna crash. So that's the more you know. All right. So from here, I actually could have used a curve brush instead, but I started with this little blob. So we're gonna continue with that. We're gonna do both. We got best of both worlds. No, okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Curve tube, click and drag. Let's make it just one piece. And then we can actually adjust the taper of this by going to curve modifiers, enabling size, and then flipping this. If you're like, oh God, graphs, all it is, as length continues, size decreases. It's negative slope. So I flip it, this is the opposite. So as length increases, size also increases. So that's a fancy way of just saying taper. So I made it decrease, so if you look at it, tapers. Some curve brushes are backwards, I have noticed. So just keep that in mind. You might have to flip it. This looks really silly. This is a little too tall. Yeah. I want it fluffier and nicer and more respect to gravity, please. There we go. I was like, oh, look at an antenna sticking out the back of her head. All right, we're fine. And then I do want her to have this luscious long hair, and it's gonna be the exact same thing that we did for the skirt. So we mask the bottom of it, drag straight down, position with the 3D gizmo, and then increase the size. And I'll do Dynamesh yet again. I'm gonna go with more like a tapered V shape here. And that's just because I personally don't like blunt cuts very much, but that's just goofy preference, doesn't really mean anything. Make sure you give some sort of like sideburn. Increase the resolution if you get this like clipping issue going on. Ooh, we really do not have any topology here. All right, we're using the inflate brush and then Dynamesh again. There we go. I was like, give me something. There we go. We have some topology just hanging out all by its lonesome. I'm gonna polygroup that off and close holes. There we go. All right, I'm gonna grab Move Topological, and so I can kind of scoot this hair off of her shoulders a little bit. There we go, and just think gravity. Where would this fall? I'm gonna go ahead and merge down. I actually don't need this little ball anymore. It's like a placeholder. I'm gonna set this here. There we go. I'm gonna merge that down on top and scoot this even higher on her head. I really recommend when you are making sculpting hair, please use different subtools. If you wanna have them in the same subtool, different polygroups, that's fine. Just don't Dynamesh, unless you have groups enabled, even then. Anyway, just have lots of different pieces. Think of hair as like different hair blobs and your hair chunks. And what's cool, if you do it that way, you really have like a lot of control over how you can build hairstyles from that. Does that make sense? Like think of it like you have like bangs, hair mint, length, and like, you know, hair ties off of it, like ponytails, pigtails, that kind of thing. If you have all of those pieces separate, you can build like a bunch of different hairstyles really easily. Right now, I'm using the damp sander brush to kind of like shape this hairline a bit more. Obviously, I'm not giving her male pattern baldness, but like it will scoot back a little right there. Like you can see on me too, like it still comes back. And especially like if you have light hair, it'll be especially exaggerated. When I was younger and my hair was like white blonde, I looked bald in certain lighting. Yeah, cute look. All right, we did the hair. Oh, Jack's here. Hello, hello. Modeling through my break on my 12-hour shift. Let's go. God damn 12-hour shift. Yeah, you take care of yourself. You take a seat. Grab a mug. Ella said, wow, I never knew about that hotkey. Oh, number 9. Yeah, dude. Highly, highly recommend. Where you're like, you feel in the fear, you're like, ZBrush, don't do it. 9. Okay, sorry. Oh my goodness. And then Aloha said, Mia, I place it in resource and inspo for whenever you have time. Thank you. I like it. I like it. Ah, it's been 5 minutes since ZBrush last crashed reflex. Precisely. All right, this is looking bitchin'. I really want to start detailing stuff, but I have to accept that I need to do this mask. Okay. Also, I'm missing that va va boom. I cannot believe I covered up her thighs. That defeats the whole purpose. Okay, 2 things. 1, identify what is cool about your character. And whatever is, especially what you think is cool. Like, I can't stress that enough. I'm gonna just run through this and see if my point makes sense to y'all. Pick what you like the most. This will kind of like build like it'll help build your own sense of style. It'll help make your process of art more enjoyable. It's just so important. You can't look at this and be like, I want everything. I mean, that's fine, but like be more specific. When I look at this, one of my favorite parts is this curve of her hip. Like, that is what's sultry. That, to me, is what makes this model really sexy. It's not just like, oh, long legs, skinny waist. No, it's this big, full hip. Love that. And I covered it up. Whoops. So just keep that in mind. So let's make some room, shall we? Let's grab these hip tassets. Okay, another side note. Do you see this dumb shit? I hate when it does this. See this? What is this? It's supposed to rotate. If it's being goofy and confused, just go to mirror and weld and it fixes it. I don't know why. If you have a new version of ZBrush, it probably doesn't do that to you. But if you're rocking 2022, it probably does that to you. Anyway, yes, good. Now, I need to open this up a little bit and remove some material. You can do the thing where you just like grab your move brush and scoot, 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 scoot. Or you can go with your ZModeler brush, hold spacebar over a polygon, not a point or an edge. It will affect how it works. Click on delete, poly loop. Ba-bam. See? Ba-bam. No. God damn it. There we go. Okay, the ZModeler brush can do so much, and like where you click it affects it. So if you're like me and like you can't just click a spot, you can hold spacebar over the things you don't want, and that's why there is a function on here called do nothing. That is for you if you cannot click like me. There you go. There we go. So that's gonna open that up. Gorgeous. And let's go ahead and bring some volume to those thighs. I'm gonna use move and back face mask. Even if I'm making a curvier character, I don't like the thighs to touch. Not because, oh, there must be a thigh gap. No, it's just really hard to fucking pose. Because when I grab, like, I get this weird, like, crotch ball thing happening. Thighs cannot touch until it's posed. After it's posed, I will scoot them in. But I think that's really important to note. Yeah. And that's my opinion on thigh gaps. Okay, we're gonna move this out. Much better. Oh my goodness. Way better. I knew something was wrong. Yeah. And I still don't... Let's just make this a little fluffed out. There we go. Beautiful. Release the thighs. Yes. Thank you, Aloha. ZModeler. My love. Yes. Agreed, Aloha. Satyr. Ah, yes. The old crotch ball. Did I say that? Jesus Christ. All right. I did say that. I did say that. Okay. Okay. Ella says, I've been saving manually like an absolute noob. Can't do that. Too cool to do that. JW says, always great when the rigging fuses body parts together when they shouldn't be fused. Exactly. And like in so many different software, it's like you can do like, what the fuck is it called? Weight painting. It's like a mask, but you tell it like, it's like giving it weight. That's not making sense. If someone didn't do ZBrush or Maya, they would know what I'm talking about. It's like a bodysuit. You can like tell it like, don't let this move as much and let this move more. And you can paint that on like in a map, essentially. That made a little bit more sense. Anyway, a lot of programs have that, but that's still so much time. So if I don't have to manually paint stuff, I never do that. I just scoot their limbs farther apart and that seems to fix it. Yeah, weight painting. Yeah, exactly. See, Loa, you know, but it's because you use like a million softwares. Trying to talk to the other peasants. Oh, hell yeah, Just Lingle's here. I am here. The party now. Restart. Okay, we're gonna restart just for Just Lingle. Hello and welcome. We're sculpting an Oni princess today. And goddamn, I got this down in 10 seconds. That's some talent right there. Yeah. Oh, why is my thing? No one told me that some of my screen was showing. Oh my goodness. There we go. Nope. Ah. I have all of this like really specific in my OBS scene. So this little bar you guys see at the top here, I'm not supposed to be able to see that. It's fine. I will adjust that OBS scene later. We can just have an ugly bar today. I'll scoot this up so I can cover it a little bit. I know no one else cares. I care. I'll do that later. Okay. Auto Rig Pro for Blender is my best friend. That sounds fancy. Pro sounds like a fancy plugin. I did quite a bit of rigging in Blender until we found Character Creator, and that was like, we're gonna do that there instead. Speaking of, we don't use KeyShot anymore. We do all of it in Blender. Okay, this is going well. My nose is running for no good reason, so I'm gonna go blow my nose, use the restroom, get water. Ella, have you been here since my ridiculous new Buc-ee's cup? I know. It's so tacky. I loved it. It's like a jean texture. And it is actually textured. Not like jean, but like, I don't know. It's just rough. That's probably a horrible sound. I'm so sorry. Not that kind of stream. Speaking of, fun fact, I hate ASMR streams. Like when they come up and that they start whispering and it shows up like on my reels or whatever, I immediately am like, yeah, I don't know. Not my thing. Okay, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Grab a drink, grab a snack. Hello. and welcome back. All right, we're gonna go mask shopping, okay? I'm gonna run over to Pinterest and we're gonna grab a couple of masks that are cool and I'm gonna let you guys vote on the one you like the most and then I will somewhat follow it. Oni mask. Sweet. Ooh. I like that. That's not what I was expecting. It's kind of more of like on the geisha side, but yeah, I like that a lot. I'm gonna throw that in this time. Probably gonna do this for only like a minute or two. That's a bit more of like a fox one. I cannot handle doing another fox mask, guys. Oh my god, doing that fox mask and that cat mask was so difficult. No, not doing that. Ooh, that is beautiful though. No, we're not. That is not what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm going to make it a bit more feminine than this, but that's also really cool. I like this one a lot because all the forms are really, really clear. I will make the front teeth a little sharper. He's looking a little buck tooth. Ooh, like a porcelain thing would be really cool. All right, I'm looking for one more potentially, as long as it looks like significantly different. So this is kind of like more rugged. This is a bit more ornate. This is definitely AI because these tusks don't fit anywhere. I mean, all of this is AI, let's be real. Anyway, but we're looking at just for inspiration of shapes more than anything. Ooh, that's cool. Not what we're doing today, but I like it. Oh, that's kind of cool, like a fusion between like this more of this filigree. Anyway, getting distracted, pointing out everything that's not an Oni mask. Although I literally put instructions in the Discord chat, I'm like, oh, if you don't like the AI stuff, you can disable it, and I just haven't. Because I mean, again, I don't mind it when I'm looking for this kind of stuff, like just like conceptual and like shape blocking out. Oh, the Ghost of Yote mask. She's an awesome samurai. Hell yeah. I've actually been really interested in that game. I haven't got it just because, one, I'm playing Pokemon ZA, but two, I never finished Ghost of Tsushima, which is super unlike me. Pretty much there's a character in Ghost of Tsushima where you're, at one point, I'm like, he's seeming kind of suspicious. And I don't know why, but like I searched the character to see something like on their outfit or something, and it's like, oh, insert name is the bad guy. And I'm like, fuck. I was so mad. I spoiled the game for myself. Super dumb. You guys ever do that? And I'm like, what was I thinking? Searching a game I have not finished. I was so mad. I was so mad. Oh yeah, this is a bit more on the simple side. I mean, I kind of like it if it's just like a half mask too. Very cool. I'm gonna grab this one here. So cool, it's a really distinct third option we have where it's, again, half mask. Alrighty, let's see if I can get this. Ooh, sweet. They're all side by side. It's exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna, oop, that's not what I wanted. Here, we're gonna be smarter about this. I'm gonna use a big brain. We're gonna screenshot it. Scoot this over. Zoom in. I'm gonna make this a poll right now. Bear with me. Moving like a grandma right now. There we go. Aha! Now I can make this nice and big. We got our options. All right. All right. 1. Half mask. 2. I'm going to call it traditional. 3. Geisha. All right, I have a poll right now. Vote, please. I'm gonna vote for, oh, I can't vote, which is stupid. But I would pick the geisha. The geisha one is just like killing me. It's so freaking cool. But yeah, it's 1, 2, 3. I named them, just make it simple. It is Sean Abel. Welcome back. It's been a bit. We have a question. Hold us over. Sean says, hello, Mia. Hello, Sean. For your base bodies, did you just decide one day to make various versions of bodies or just get tired of having to make a body each time? Why did I not understand that question? You spoke in plain English. Did you just decide one day to make various versions of bodies? So I use ZBuilder to make variants. I really, the requests a lot of times. Let me think, 1 second. I make new versions of bodies as I need them. That's the best way to put it. I didn't sit down and just make a bunch of bodies one day. Duke says, Mia, have you ever pulled up references and had any of your own work come up in the search? All the time, and I love that. I'm like, ooh, feels very fancy. It does hurt my feelings that my art is rarely my top 3 on the page, but every now and then I'm like, damn, I'm one of my own favorites here. That feels good. Hello, it says, just think guys, a half mask has more room for pretty face. This is true, but the face right now is just a black void. If you're into that. Sater says, I like the mouth of the traditional and the nose and cheekbones up of the geisha. Mouth? Yeah, okay, I get you. If I was gonna do this, I think I would emphasize the like teeth tusks more. I hear ya. That's a perfect answer. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Oh, no, you're talking about my answer, I think. I was gonna say, I'm like, Sater's answer, I agree. But we did not, there was not a 2.5 option, Sater. 2 or 3. Gonna have a few more minutes on that poll. Thank you guys for voting. It's been lively today. Again, my number is 10. If we have more than 10 people that stop by, it's, I don't know, it's still, that's still working for me. It's really fun. That would be like an excessive amount of people in this room. Like my studio is not very big. If there was 10 people in here, that'd be a full house. That'd be a party. The geisha is in the lead. When I screenshot the geisha reference, I will probably grab both of these though, just because the structure of this is gonna be a little easier for me to follow. Sater said, I voted for one and created one. Do with it what you will. Very fair. All right, how are we doing on time? Wow, I love that for me. That's useless. Okay. I set a timer. Cool. I can see right here. It's been an hour and a half. But I set a timer on here and I immediately paused it. Oh no, it's loading. Cool. That was a clusterfuck. Anyway, we got another at least a half hour left. I think I'm gonna dedicate a lot of that time to the mask. Maybe I'll do like 15 minutes and then we'll get to detailing. All right, the geisha 1. I'm gonna do one more pull. IDC is not a thing. No one says that. No preference. There we go. We got another poll here just about detail work. How important is it that you see some detail work today? Detail work done today? There we go. Super important. Yeah, no preference. I hate details. Just so I know how much time to spend on this mask here. A lot of polls today. I don't usually do that. I had fun. I'm not going to do a poll about whether or not I should do polls, but I had fun doing this. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. All right, the geisha mask 1. So I'm going to just throw up Eagle up here so I can have that up. Or no, you guys are going to want to see. You're going to want to see what I'm doing. I don't know, you guys always want to know what I'm doing. We'll just screenshot both of these. I have multiple things pinned. Oh, bless. I use, it's called Shotter, S-H-O-T-T-R, and it's wonderful. There. Hello, Dragon. You just came in busting up laughing, or have you already been here lurking and I said something funny? Or is that just how you enter the room? Ha 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 ha. Oh, goodness. All right, we're doing the mask. Which, fun fact, I really have never found a good way to do masks, so I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to try more of a Dynamesh approach and sculptural approach instead of modeling. Okay, we're going to duplicate the body. I'm going to zoom in on this head here. I'm going to just cut her head off. No. Yes. There we go. There we go. We have a head. And then that looks good. What do you guys think? I like it. Very no face. Dragon says, that was me coming in via rocket chicken. Do you mean robot chicken? Or do you mean like literally riding a rocket chicken? Because I have not heard of or thought of robot chicken in so long. Oh my goodness. We had lots of regulars tune in today. I love it. All right, this actually gives me a really good base, especially because we are working on that geisha hybrid mask. Let's go ahead and smooth these edges down. And I need to look at this and I need to have a think. All right, why do some of these polys look so screwed up? You guys see this too? Like, what is this? I'm just gonna smooth it away. This is also not symmetrical. We'll mirror and weld. It's still not symmetrical. Or it's just lighting. It's just lighting. Okay, me just having a meltdown over lighting. Don't worry about it. All right, we have the thing. The first thing I'm gonna do is just worry about trying to get this shape happening. And we're gonna go from the bottom up. She has a very small chin, so we'll kind of bring that in. So I'm saying this like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, make her chin smaller, make her lips rounder, that kind of stuff. And as I'm doing that, I'm looking at a bunch of spots I can reference. Like, her lips are smaller, how much smaller? And like an easy way to look at that is like, here, let me get my camera. If I take my pen and you put your pen right next to your eye, see this like straight line down? Your mouth generally ends somewhere in line with that inner corner of your eye. Not always. Some people are more like this. Some people are more like this. But that's like a really good marker that I have used. Also kind of, it starts to tell you the relationship with their face and their nose too. So that's a fun one. Her nose, the tip is up a little bit. Nostrils are up as well. Again, I'm not the kind of artist that can look at something and then just make it. I have to like map it out in my head and then see how those relationships and proportions play out in front of me. So her entire head, I'm also realizing, is kind of squished compared to what I had. So I'm just gonna use the deformer and squish all of that down. There we go. Looking at the top curve of her eye here. It's more of a monolid, so we don't want this crease right here. I'm gonna gently smooth that out. And then again, didn't make the mouth smaller, just talked about it, but then didn't do it. So I'm gonna scoot that mouth in. And remember, your mouth doesn't just sit like taped to your face, it curves. So from the side of my head, look how far in it comes. See, like way in here. It's not here, it's here. So when you turn your model, make sure that you are pulling that mouth line back. I see this all the time. Empress, I'm looking at you because I know you're struggling with mouth still because they're hard. Don't have it like this. Your mouth does not sit on top of your face. It wraps around your head, okay? Make sure you scoot that on back. Speaking of, when you're trying to get an expression, your instinct is to go to the front of the model and just pull that mouth up. Horrifying. If you want a little more success, go from the side view first actually and pull it up here. And you'll notice, it's like me cursed, but you will get a bit better of a structure to work with from there. Isn't that nice? I'm like, isn't that nice? Okay. I'm very passionate about this and like trying to make that disconnect between like seeing something and creating it, because I feel like art becomes very touchy-feely of like, yeah, what is like the general curve? I'm like, no, it's like a science. You can just look at it and measure it and then copy it. Some things, or a lot of things, are touchy-feely with art and the vibe of it, you know what I mean? Like, what's the essence of that piece? But in this case, for a face, you can just measure that shit. So measure it. All right, rant over. I'm gonna add subdivisions. I'm still mad about this weird coloring thing I have going on here. I'm not crazy, I see it. Oh, it's a different material because it's the body. I figured it out. Took me a long time. If I click fill object, it should fix it. It didn't. What if I go to flat color? See, haha. That means there's two different materials happening here. So if you're trying to fix it, because you have dual materials, click on your material palette, flat color, and then fill object with the paintbrush selected and make sure M is also selected. There we go. That's what I wanted. So now when I go back to Z metal, it's gonna just be Z metal. I don't really like that as much as what I had before. Did what I meant to, and now I'm not happy about it. Oh my God, I feel like the other light was easier to see. Let me scoot my lights over. When you do the thing you meant to do and you're like, wait, I don't like it. Sad. Let's get like more like a purple light here. I think that suits this character more. Maybe even like a pink. I never do that. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Okay. We are back in the car, ladies and gentlemen. We took a small detour. All right, I'm gonna start coming with my damn standard brush and kind of carving out shapes, even though it's a little harsher than what the actual model is gonna end up looking like. It just helps me see where everything is at. Oh, someone new is here. Sir Guard. Sir. Oh, I love that. You have a title. Oh, I feel in pain when trying to make lips. It's tricky. You gotta think of that curve. It's all about the curve. Sounds good, Sean. Thanks for stopping in. Oh my gosh. JW said, oh, ow, just attempted this. Poked self in eye with pen, now suing. Christ. All right, we're back to it. I'm just making sure there wasn't any questions, anyone lost. Also, we had a spread of answers. Whoever voted I hate details, you are my favorite. I just want you to know that. All right, let's keep blocking out some spots here. I am gonna go ahead and grab my favorite brush. Bonus points if you know what it's gonna be. Yes, Empress, I mapped it to my UI and it didn't stay there. I was very sad. I can put it in my brush palette, I just haven't. So I'm still wrong. All right, the answer was the slash brush. I love me the slash brush. All right, let's go ahead and chill that out. And then bring in this pink-ish color, more on the red side. There we go. And we're gonna map out some of these details here using the slash brush, which also has some color on it, which will make my life a little easier. Make sure lazy mouse is enabled. I guess you don't have to, but I find it makes using this brush much easier. I'm putting this line on the face now because it kind of serves like a construction line. It makes it easier to see the gap between things and like measuring. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, ask a question. There we go. So now I have this on here. You can see that that curve was a little dramatic. Let's make her chin a little smaller. There we go. And now I'm holding down Option, that's Alt on Windows, to build up this line on the outside. Beautiful. All right, it's coming together. Okay. I'm gonna use the pinch brush to soften her eyes a little bit because they're more open than they need to be. Am I gonna give her like eyeballs or not? I'm not certain. I probably should. I don't think I need to though. I'm also gonna soften this brow here. So I'm going to use my mask lasso brush and grab these eyelids because I don't want to lose those. And then use trim dynamic. I'm going to kind of like shave this brow bone back a little bit. And then I'm going to soften it using the smooth brush. I'm going to bring back some of that definition a little bit. And then moving that lower eyelid. Again, I'm always just looking at my reference, and it's just a spot the difference game. There we go. Looking like a thing. Let's go ahead and give her these eyebrows, which are quite high up. I'm gonna use my mask pen brush instead. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna inflate these smooth. And then we might as well fill in that color. There we go. A little bit more color, anything that I think that's absolutely necessary, otherwise I'm not gonna super worry about it. This color blocking though is quite important. It's a little bit of pinkness to the nose. I did not give her ears, I'm realizing. We're not gonna worry about that. No ears for you. All right, and then this really beautiful draping here, which is gonna give us room for where the horns are gonna go. Where does it go? Okay, measuring some distances here. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna add some thinner lines here, kind of some of that detail. Remember, the slash brush is directional. So wherever that edge is building up and falling off, really pay attention whether you're working left to right or right to left. No need. She has blind sight. She absolutely would. She absolutely would. Oh, smart. So we talked about eyeballs, and Seder, I was kind of just being silly, and Seder actually has a good point. I'd imagine you could just leave it as is. Keep a recess for the paint to pool in. But if you're wearing a mask and your eyeballs are close enough to not be recessed in shadow, that's a tight mask. This is true. What scale is this figurine going to be? So everything that I do is for 3D printing, specifically like D&D characters. So it is 28mm scale, itty bitty. But again, you can scale these things up as big as you want. Add, there we go. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, and then we're gonna scoot this mask forward a touch. And I'm gonna recess the face back. There we are. Need to add these horns and then fit her hair to this new mask. Kind of gave her a little bit of a receding hairline, just a little bit. Is there a reason that D&D scale is so small? Tables are only so big. That's really the answer. So they're called TTRPGs, tabletop role-playing games, for a reason. You bring your friends over, you gather around, usually about 4 to 7 of y'all, and then you play. And if everyone's character was this big, your map would be like the size of like a twister mat. Like you need a rug, not a table. That's all. That's why like wargaming is usually even smaller. Seder would know. 15mm. But yeah, easier to snack on. No Aloha. All right, let's create some horns. We're gonna use our curve brush. And again, I showed you guys earlier how to create this taper automatically. If you're just rolling in and you missed it and you're like, wait, I wanna know how you do that, speak up. Otherwise, I'm not gonna show it again today. Wargaming is usually heroic scale 32mm. No, I'm thinking of the wrong thing then. I'm thinking of like where people have like dozens of pieces that they're moving around, like Warhammer-esque. Like, is that 32? I swear they're smaller, not bigger. A lot of historical war games are 10 or 15. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then probably. Great question though, Duke. I've touched on it before. When you are designing stuff to be 3D printed, do not skimp on the details just because it's going to be a small model. You can see eyelashes. You can see, or in my case, the eyelash brick that I create, or like I'll say eyebrows instead. You got no reason to be skimping on details. And a lot of people love taking their characters and also printing them large. So put in that extra love, put in that extra time. And as an artist, that just feeds my art soul. I can't imagine being like, no one's gonna see this detail, so I just don't do it. Like, that's some bullshit. Like, I do this because I love it as well. Also, 3D printers are getting so good. A little bit of it's kind of like, get on my level, and the 3D printers are. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. When I took my art full-time, resin wasn't even really a thing. I was designing with this level of detail for FDM printers because I knew, I was like, this is gonna get better. I don't like how young her face looks. And it looks like that because remember early on, I kind of like squished it. So I'm gonna add some length back to her face. I was just trying to kind of like follow this reference, but I've changed my mind. I'm gonna give her pink hair. I didn't expect to add pinks into this, but here we are. I find adding gradients to any of the colors that you're working on adds so much. An easy way to do that is to select your paintbrush, hold spacebar, go to dots, and then set drag rectangle. C will select whatever color you're hovered over. So you go back to spacebar, see this color palette, it's already selected. So all I have to do is just scoot back up, click and drag, and beautiful gradient. There we are. Mia doesn't let me indulge in such things anymore. It is true. Sater says, cross my heart. I believe you. Now I'm in PBL Aloha. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Yes, JW, share that in the Discord, please. People would love, love, love to see that. Also, I have been so accurate when people tune into the stream. And I'm like, you have been knighted. You are a new peasant. Knighted as a peasant. Sater, shut up. Anyway, and you come back, and I knew it. There's certain people, when they pop up in the chat, I just know. I'm like, you're going to be part of the community. I just knew it. I love that you're going to be sharing that, too. People are so excited you got a 3D printer, too. I love that they just swarmed you yesterday. I love to see it. Awesome. Reminder that I will be sharing this with all of my students. If you want to take these assets, again, I have a bunch of, let me jump in teaching mode really quick. So all of these pieces here are their own thing. So I'm gonna scroll, I'm gonna go to the top here, and oh, let me name this skirt. I'm gonna scroll through here and you'll see everything that's highlighting is an individual piece. So it's really customizable. You can make your own characters from this and really just have a good time. Because like even these pieces like the tassets, if you hold Command-Shift-D, you can duplicate it and just like start moving this piece around, and there you go. Now she looks more like a samurai. It's so valuable to be able to like use these asset packs I'm sharing. It's kind of like a play set almost. And especially because I keep it really low poly, there's so much customizability, there you go, that you can do with it. So there you go. If you want access to that, I teach, link in the description. Again, the payment's for Patreon, but really the benefit is being in our Discord and being in these streams. So yes, alrighty. Empress said, I finally got around to the stream where Aloha first manifested and Mia regretted her choice of accepting him. I don't remember saying that on stream. All right. I actually really like these shoulder pads being here. I'm gonna keep them. I don't think they're called pauldrons when they're that shape, but I'm gonna call them pauldrons. I'm also going to create one more layer here. I'm gonna select this, and there we go. That example of mine paid off a little better than I expected. How freaking fun is this? Ah, having a good time. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right, 42% of you said it's super important to get detail work today, and 33% have no preference. So I'm gonna cater to the 42%, and we got 20 minutes here. I can detail really fast, so we'll go ahead and do that. Paul Buss is here. Hello, you are new. No, you are not. Cyber Surfer. Yes, I know you. You support me on Patreon. Thank you. But first time in stream, I think. So hello. Yeah, TTRPG Mini started out as 28mm back in the late 70s. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, we are doing detail right now. I don't hand fart. Anyway, I don't know what you guys want me to detail. I don't really have a strong preference, so I'm gonna give you guys some options here. What do you want a detail demo on? Hair. We're gonna do like tight fabric folds because I can do the skirt. That would be a really impressive one that would not take very long. So I might be able to do a couple of these. I don't think you guys can vote for multiple things. Sorry. Okay. I could do the bodice. I don't want to do the shoes, so it's not gonna be an option. And I could also detail, I don't know. Those are your 3 options. You get 3 options. Something else? Comment. All right, there's a new pull-up. Because detailing rips through quickly. Sayer says, Mia, sure, ignore my history lesson. Joking. Yeah, bro, I saw pieces of it. There you go. That was good. Where is the extend stream option? I know, right? Soon. I have not had the super chat buy stuff option available. I call it the tavern menu open for a while. I've had it closed because I really want to make sure I am sticking to my schedule and being super, non-burnout. But starting next week, I think I'm gonna make it like $5 donation, and I'll extend the stream by an hour. Just something really fun, something cheap, but has like really good value. And that'd be a fun thing. So keep an eye out for that next week. Aloha says, wow, Mia only lets us choose either hair or fabric folds. Shaking my head. My goat would do both in one segment. I'm probably gonna get to both, but this is like the hierarchy that we're gonna do it in. All right, so we have tight fabric folds. I love that you guys picked tight fabric folds because that is the easiest shit to do. Love it. Okay, cool. You guys, if you struggle with doing like tight, gauzy fabric folds, you're gonna get your mind blown. It's gonna be great. So whether you are new to sculpting or even sculpting for a long time, this is a technique you'll be able to pick up like that. It only takes one brush. Duke says, are the 1 hour $5 extensions additive / compounding? No. I'm gonna have to run that through my mods to be like, hey, What would be reasonable? Oh my God. Me, a 24-hour marathon. No, God. $5. I'm worth more than $5 an hour. It would probably scale exponentially. Probably. I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I don't want to be greedy. At the very least, I have been happy with streaming twice a week at the minimum. Speaking of, if y'all are hanging out, you should join our Discord. If you don't have an invite, ask the mods or type in ! Discord. I always come over here to Tavern Peasant Hub. That's under project references. And I post the stream schedule every Monday. So this is this week's. So yes, I might open Marvelous for this one. I might not. I haven't decided yet. I would like to try to do these ruffles in Marvelous. The rest of it I can do almost faster in ZBrush. But yeah, I will be back Friday, 12:30. It will be fun. Maybe I will open the Tavern menu for Friday. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? Maybe I will let you give me money. I mean, technically you can donate whenever you want. It just, you won't get anything other than thanks. All right. Why can't I close Discord? Well, that's the stream, y'all. We all get to just look at my own Discord. Oh my God, this is one thing I hate about Apple. There you go. I gotta like hover and then like just hope that it brings up that little menu. All right, we did it. We're fine. Ricky said, Mia told me she's gonna stream Pokemon. I might. I thought it'd be fun to stream like some shiny hunting just because it's really chill and kick back. And then I can tell you guys all about me wrangling cows this weekend. Just kidding, it'd be a really short story. But just stuff like that. It's been fun to talk with y'all. And then one of the recent streams we did, we talked about birthdays. And the conversation we all had was just so much freaking fun. I wouldn't mind having more kickback streams where we can just kind of like gab more. So yeah. Exponentially? Are you sure? No. Listen, despite having my degree in engineering, that does not mean I'm good at math. 24-hour Marvelous stream on Friday, let's go. No. Yeah. Shiny hunting would be so chill, it would become an M3DM podcast, basically. Basically. Yeah. Duke said, Ricky, I watched my wife play last night for about 3 hours. That's funny. That means that you and your wife and Ricky and I lived the same lives last night for 3 hours. That's really funny. There was no overlap where we were the same. Very cool. Exponential would be a good way to make sure I don't get a 24-hour stream extension. I don't know how those streamers do like marathon streams. I really don't. Okay, I'm so sorry. So much stalking. You voted for hair. That's easy too. All right, we're gonna do 5 minutes on hair because it does not take long. Listen. Details get all of the credit. It doesn't mean that details don't take a long time, but it's not as like mind expensive energy spending work. Oh Christ. It doesn't take as much energy. It really doesn't. When you're trying to figure out how to create that texture for the first time, sure. But I'm just saying they really get all the credit, but if your base sucks, the details are not going to fix anything. It's like putting too much icing on food that doesn't deserve it. You know what I mean? All right, let's do hair. All right, I'm setting a timer for 5 minutes and this will look substantially different. Wow, the hair is like not visible. So we are going to, let's just do a little side stamp so we can reference it later. All right, if you hold Shift and then click S, it will stamp your screen. How cool is that? So that way you guys can kind of see like what it was before and where we're working. Let me get my timer set. Let me throw this over here. Cool. All right, let's go. Step 1. I really like using this Danny Mac hairbrush. And believe me, if you're like, oh my God, step 1 is buying a brush. It doesn't have to be. Good Lord. This is essentially just a curved tube brush. It just has a few more layers than that. If anyone has a proper meltdown, I'll do this with just a curved brush. Actually, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. All right. The first thing I like to do is throw some of these hair strands down. Make sure you're paying attention to the direction that the hair is flowing. Again, it's pulling off of her scalp and going straight back in this case. That looks decent. I don't really care how nice this looks. I'm gonna throw a strand down. I'm gonna run one down to the center. I do like to try to tuck it up by the hairline as much as possible. That looks fine. Split mask points. And I'm gonna duplicate and mirror. All right, we got some hair blobs here. I'm gonna go ahead and merge them down so they're one piece, and then subdivide a few times. Now, why do I like this brush so much? I like it so much because it has a bunch of little hair strands in it. So what that means is I can grab this section here with Move Topological, and I can start moving these pieces away from each other. And then very quickly, you kind of have this like nice, flowy, organic look. Again, we're doing a 5-minute demo here of details. The more time you spend on details, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Oh my gosh, that was my stomach growling. Did you guys hear that? It sounded like a dying animal. Okay. So we have that nice top layer. It's starting to break out. I'm going to turn off symmetry because we are going across the center line here. Whenever you do that, you want to make sure you break symmetry. Very good. And if you're like, oh, that's never going to print, you're wrong. I've been doing this for a long time. But also, you should do move and back face mask, a little trick here, and add some thickness to it, just like that. This is adding tons of depth to these hair strands. See the before and the after, which means there's all these little recesses for paint to fall in. Very good. Obviously the hair brick here doesn't look as nice, right? Hold Command D, subdivide a bunch of times. Grab your slash brush and detail your base. Be thoughtful with it. Try to vary your strokes. You don't want to blanket it in even strokes, okay? It's gonna look stiff. You're seeing I'm kind of like undoing some strokes too because I'm really trying to think what's gonna have a nice flow to it or not. And every time I go over the center line, I turn off symmetry. Every time, okay? It's really, really important. Gonna flip it over to the front because even though you're not gonna see a lot of this, it always looks really weird when you find a little side area and it's just completely detailless. So I want to avoid that as much as possible. See how my habit is to make these equidistant? Don't do that. It doesn't look as good. It's kind of like our natural tendency too. So just keep that in mind. There we go. All right, and then now with those 2 layers, look how freaking crazy detailed. It has not even been 4 minutes yet to go from this to this. And that's why I'm always like, y'all are giving details way too much credit. All right, so for this, I can probably just do a single strand of that Danny Mac hairbrush. I just used the multi-brush one. There's like different options up here. I just used the first one and that's it. There we are. I subdivided it a few times. And I'm gonna scoot this in here. There we go. I am definitely using a lot of hotkeys to move around. So if you can't move around ZBrush really quickly, you're not gonna be able to do this. And it's like, well, how'd you get good at using hotkeys? I just play with ZBrush a lot. That's it. It's a muscle memory thing. I think it helps that I grew up playing piano, honestly. Means I'm good at typing too. Anyway, just know that like, there, that's been 5 minutes exactly. I'm gonna cheat and do an additional 30 seconds here. Someone time me, just kidding. Just so I can get that base mesh here detailed a touch, like I mentioned earlier. Because if there's nothing on here, you can just tell. Even though it doesn't make a huge difference, I swear, when it's just completely like a straight tube in there, it looks weird. All right, that was my 30 seconds. All right, so that is our hair detail tutorial. And if you're like, Mia, I don't have that brush, what the heck? I hear you. Click on B for your brush palette, because if you already paid for a ZBrush, it's expensive. I know you don't have to do this. You can even go to extrude profile. It's pretty much the same freaking thing. I bought this brush when extrude profile wasn't a thing. This is even called hair, literally. So extrude profile, they're all called hair. You can click and drag and look, look, look. It almost looks identical to the brush that I paid for. Whatcha? You can do the exact same thing. All right. Do we have any questions? Obviously, the more time you spend, the better it's going to look. But I just want you guys to see, like, when you know what kind of details to add, you can get through it pretty quick. My contrast paints are squealing. Yeah, this is gonna, oh my God. Contrast paints on the hair, the eye sculpt. Delicious. Delicious. Oh my, also, Seder, when I get a cupcake, the first thing I do is peel off the baking wrapper. The second thing, I flip that sumbitch over, wipe off all the icing. After that, proceed to eat the cake and trash the icing. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I want your attention. I want words. How do we like that hair tutorial? Does that make sense? Do you think it looks good? Because if you don't, that's crazy. Tell me about it. But seriously, I really want you guys to be able to watch this, and even if you're watching the future, hello future people, I want you to be able to do this yourself. And a lot of the clicking and nonsense that you see, it's really just me moving. So that's how I pan. That's holding Alt. That's Option on Mac. That's just me moving, rotating, zooming in and out. That's all it is. Like it's a lot of this is just me moving. The actual content here is just 2 brushes. Dragon says, question, rum or whiskey? I have a sensitive palate. No, I hate alcohol. I just don't like it. And everyone's like, oh, you must have a sad backstory. I do actually, but everyone does. And that actually doesn't have anything to do with it. I just don't like it. And then Dragon, you excuse me, I am a grown-up. Scotch, oh my goodness. Ricky likes whiskey. Yeah, Ricky likes everything. Ricky's not picky. My brother, you lost me at Scotch. Oh no, guys, it's finally happened. Duke and Seder have disagreed. Oh my goodness. It's sufficient enough for this time. Very good. Seder said, ha, piano, MMOs, same. You know, whatever, hand dexterity, I guess that works. That's really funny. And first said, the students, me specifically, require a proper detailed M3DM Scion tutorial of various styles. I think that is important. I actually do think you have a good point there. Like, depending how you were tying hair back and doing stuff like that, it can get a little tricky. All right, number 1 in the poll was hair detail. Number 2 was tight fabric folds, and that is so heckin' easy. I'm gonna jump ahead and show you guys how to do that. We're gonna detail this skirt, and it's gonna be delicious. Are you ready? Step 1, take your item that you are gonna be sculpting fabric folds on. See if it has like enough polys. This is not enough polys. This is super low polys. This is only 266 points. So when I go to sculpt on it, almost nothing happens. So if that is you, subdivide, Command D. I'm gonna do it a few times. Now I'm at 240,000 points. Very good. Step 2, grab your standard brush. Congrats, you have completed all of the tool steps. All you're gonna need to do is find out where gravity is going. In this case, it's going this way, down. Do a fabric fold. Do a couple tests. Experiment with your draw size. The bigger the draw size, the bigger the fabric fold, which is going to imply that your fabric is a bit thicker. If you want that thin, gauzy, light, airy look, thin fabric folds, okay? like this. All right, great, you have added material. You must also take away material, okay? So it's very important. I'm gonna increase my Z intensity too. So you add, and then right next to it, I hold down Option and I take away. If you cross over yourself, it's not the end of the world. If you really get upset about that, you can just do it again. I do find enabling lazy mouse makes it a little easier. Lazy mouse makes it so your like cursor kind of trails. See that red line? Kind of trails behind you. You don't have to do that, but I do. So there you go. I'm gonna add and take away. Add, take away. I left a gap right here. Why? Because I can take away a big section right there and get this like beautiful wave happening. How do I know when to add and when to take away? Well, in the beginning, just do it every other strip. Add, take away, add, take away. And then if you're realizing by the end of it, it's gonna look pretty samey right here. So I've kind of learned to leave some gaps. Like this is kind of pinching off of her hip right here. So I imagine the fabric would kind of start to bend. So I didn't detail anything and I added. Yes, some of the secret is just doing this 1,000 times. So I'm changing the draw size every now and then, but for the most part, they're very small. We're approaching the center line, see? So it gets nasty. Turn off symmetry, click X. Add, take away. Add, take away. There you go. Is that not just incredible? I mean, come on. For that amount of time, please. Like, you're not gonna get better than that fast unless you simulate it and you're really good at Marvelous, which I am not. But anyway, that is a way you can block out really beautiful fabric folds in ZBrush nice and quick. That was an easy one because it was drapery. I'm gonna do one more example for you guys, okay? Which is these leggings. I'm gonna subdivide, because again, this is too low poly. Subdivide, Command D. I'm gonna add 4 subdivs. I can just do, oh my God, not that many. That's enough. All right, so right here by her crotch, you have the fabric right here and right here is being pinched together. It's a compression fold. So you don't want to add fabric folds like this. That makes no sense. You want to like find a piece of fabric, I assume you have clothes on, and like pinch fabric on your shirt and look at it. See how it starts to like behave, right? And so I'm just gonna mimic that. This is gonna kind of pinch around her thighs. Again, I'm just add, take away. Does that make sense to say add, take away? It's because I'm adding material and I'm taking away material. And I'm doing that by holding Option. When I hold Option, it inverts the brush. So by default, this adds material. If I hold Option, it takes away material. Depending on your lighting, it kind of looks the same, which can be really confusing. So just keep that in mind. There. Look how good that looks. Easy peasy, guys. You can do it. I know you can do it. Now we're talking about drinking whiskey and scotch and resin. Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. All right, well, we got some fabric fold demos and some hair sculpting demos. I am quite happy with that. This turned out pretty gorgeous. Let me make sure I have, we're gonna get like some fun lighting on here. And then I'm gonna upload this and share it with students right now. Make your own beautiful demon princess inspired thing. And then if you do something with it, share it with me in our Discord. I'd love to see it, okay? All right, I'm going to take a screenshot. Smile. Excellent, and that's gonna go into our, Sater gave us a real life action fabric fold example. Thank you, Sater. Whatcha, and that is today's stream. Instructions unclear, gave up, bought a $400 mess. God damn it, Empress. Oh my goodness. That's fantastic, I love that you say that, I genuinely do. Well, good. This was heckin' fun. I had a great time. And then really quick, just in case you guys are like, well, wait, how do I detail the bodice? I'm not going to do a full demo. I'm just going to tell you guys. It's the same kind of thing where you're essentially going, make sure it's selected. You're going to subdivide a few times, and then you are going to use a brush like damn standard. Make sure it's like pretty high intensity and small. And you're literally just going to like draw lines and stuff. It details faster than you think. Again, details, yeah. Base forms, yes. That's where it's at, okay? Well, this is fun. Oh my goodness. I think I need this to be a future D&D character. I love her. This was dense. Damn, if you didn't learn something today, you weren't listening. If you have questions, final questions, please ask. Oh my God. Can't believe how loud my stomach growls. Stop. Okay. I had like a kiwi today and that is it. Don't worry, I'm going to eat a bunch of stew after this. All right, I need to name a couple of these subtools really quick. Alrighty, I'll be uploading this for my students to play around with in like T-5 seconds. But first, I need to tidy up a few of these things, that way you guys don't get confused. Mask, horns. And yeah, prior to doing these streams, I literally never name my subtools unless I have to, which is bad practice. So this is making me a better artist too. Great. All right, beautiful. We go to Tool, Save As. And this will be Oni Princess. Today's date is October 22nd. I always have the date saved in these Z tools because there's always a corresponding stream to go along with it. All right, and then I'm gonna put this on screen pretty soon here so you guys can see all of the different streams we've done so far and all of the cool things I have shared. Well, bam. It's the 22nd already. My goodness. Okay. But here you go. These are all streams that my students have access to as of right now. Again, the streams are available to everyone, but like the ZBrush files are available to students only. And yeah, we have one that's a build your own ZBrush kit, which is how to make your own like flower rock wall. And that one's especially like click and go, ready to go. Yes. Let's see, we got that. Oh yeah, that medieval gothic armor. I like that one a lot. And the steampunk dress. Ooh, the knight armor was pretty bitchin' too. Okay. Anyway, these have been really fun. Empress says, I have so many outfits to steal from Mia to fit to my poorly done base mesh. It's a match made in heaven. All right, there's a link in the description if you want to become a student. It's $30 a month, $1 a day. If you're interested in learning ZBrush, seriously, I want to teach you. It is what I do. I do have a video series that you can follow and blah, blah, blah. If you guys could learn by just buying a video series, I would sell that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work well anyway. The whole point of it is that I ask you what you want to learn, what's your goal, whether it's like minis or game characters, whatever, and then I give you little assignments to get you there. I make sure you have videos to follow, very, very clear goals, that kind of stuff. It's mostly done through Discord DMs. If you can join streams, that especially, you are going to get such a ridiculous value for it. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I love teaching. Consider it. If you want to actually learn how to do it, I'm your girl. All right, what is next? Paint had to dip out. I know they wanted me to look at one of their models that they're working on. So really quick, I'm gonna do a little review of their model because it's the first character they have created and posed, which is very exciting. So let's go ahead and check out what Paint has for us. It's pink because my light is pink. All right, let me go ahead and send a timestamp to him. So that way he knows to watch this later. Seriously, huge shout out to all my students. You guys work so freaking hard. I notice it. Keep it up, okay? Learning stuff is hard and it's not always fun. But you could do it, I promise. Okay. This is his first time posing. Let's kind of give a look here. So when you are doing a pose in ZBrush, make sure you turn perspective on and off a few times. So what does that mean? Perspective on means that when something is closer to the camera, it gets bigger. Simple as that. If your perspective isn't on, that means everything looks perfectly flat. Whether it's closer to the camera or farther away doesn't matter. My hands would stay the same size. I don't know how to turn off perspective in real life. That would break reality. But in ZBrush, I can click the letter P and it turns off perspective. So when perspective is turned off, you will see that his feet appear to be on the same plane, which is great. That is 3D print ready, that's 3D print friendly. You can stick that on the base. Look at these P's. Anyway, when I turn on perspective, it looks like they're a little stilted because this foot is closer to the camera. All right. I like that you have some stuff balanced here. I think his feet are my favorite part, the way you have them staggered forward, and the wings. The rest of it, it's not telling a story. What is this character doing? Is he walking towards me? He almost looks like he just has a bad stomach ache, or that he's trying to like intimidate someone. Maybe like his head's lowered, he's looking up at you like through his eyebrows kind of thing. But other than that, I guess I'd just say it's just not clear what the mood is here. When you are posing your character, you probably heard like line of action, that kind of thing. And like he does have a bit of like a curve right here. That's fine. The line of action is just a tool that you can use to tell that story. Again, like I have this little mouse here with a frying pan that's lunging forward. It's blurry, but you guys can see that she's gonna smack the shit out of you. You know, like that's a very clear, crazy pose. She is coming at you, right? So the line of action is moving this way. But again, that's just a tool. So even though you have some like correct principles here, like, oh, there is a line of action or whatever, and it's decently strong, it still doesn't tie together what that story is. If this was your final pose, you're like, nope, this is what I want, that's fine. Because you're 3D printing this, notice how the hands are really, really close to this skirt right here. You can just take your mesh and you can just scoot it up so it touches his hands. I really recommend that because putting supports on fingers sucks. So if you have stuff that's close together, you might as well make them touch. Just putting that out there. So yeah, that's my biggest critique on that, is that I just really don't know what he is trying to do or say. I do like the wings. I like how they curve and kind of cup in front of him. I think that's really nice. Another thing with posing is it's nice to kind of look from the top down. Especially if you were doing this as a D&D character, this guy is not fitting on a base. You don't have to have your characters fit exactly on the base. However, it's really annoying when you're playing with a character with wings and the mini you've sculpted has wings straight out, because when you play on the tabletop and you rotate your character, it hits everyone around you and it's very annoying. So you want to try to tuck that up onto the base as much as possible. I usually arc my wings upward. Do I have any wings in front of me? No. I was trying to see if I have any minis in front of me with wings. I don't. I've done a bunch of them. They're just not printed in front of me. All right. Overall, this is fantastic. I can't believe this is your first character that you have sculpted and posed. I am so freaking proud of you. Seriously. Bad satyr. He looks so sad. Yeah, although that's a good point. Like that's kind of what I get out of this. Like, or he has a stomach ache. I'm clear. Yeah. The wings adjusting to look more intentional could help sell that. Exactly. Like if he's supposed to be sad, and that is the point here, I would actually take the wings and concave them and bring them down to kind of like droop. See how it's already kind of looking like it's kind of selling this effect more? It's a little more interesting. I also pull that over itself a little more. And then anything that you do, I would just exaggerate more. So like throw his butt farther back, bring his knee further over, bring that foot farther out, widen that stance. I made his crotch weirdly big, my bad. Squish. All right. So I'm just using the move brush. Do not pose with the move brush, for the love of God. No, this is not how you do it. I know I have a student like, oh, it's that easy. No. You want to go to transpose master. You want to mask things intentionally, invert that mask. Like for example, I take this arm, invert that mask, and then pose this way. Ignore that I grabbed part of his pant. But anyway. Already that kind of has more movement to it. But yes, very good. Very proud of you. Fantastic. Keep doing your thing. I'm excited to see what you work on next. You're kind of moving into that stage that Empress is at, where I don't get to hear from you as much, which makes me sad, but I totally understand it. Like in the beginning, my students like message me all the freaking time, like every day. And then like as they work on their own projects and you know, they're growing up, they message me less and less for single bigger reviews. But don't you guys forget, regardless of how long you've been one of my students, Aloha you included obviously, you can message me anytime with questions, okay? It's all about that flow. Exactly, Aloha. Satyr, angel face. Oh my goodness. Something else that I thought was fun. I have a student that joined like in May or April, and then they kind of like fell off a little bit. They hadn't quite got through the fundamentals. And I messaged them like, hey, I haven't heard from you, bitch. Just checking in case you need anything. And they never responded. That was in April. They just dropped off the face of the planet. I'm like, oh, okay, they got busy, I guess. They messaged me like a week ago and they're like, hey, I'm back. I think that's the coolest thing. Like, I'm glad that he knew he could do that. That applies for all of y'all. I'm not encouraging you to ghost me, but you don't have to be a student forever. You can pause and come back. And I'm not going to be like, I'm cool with that. Life gets busy. I don't care. Do what works best for you. Seriously. All right, I think that's everything. We had a 2.5 hour stream. Ooh, you guys got a little bit of a longer one today. I will be back on Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's the same time this week. And that's it. This was fun as heck. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Aloha, left on red. Yeah, I was. Or did I leave you on red? Immediately panics. You didn't message me. I didn't respond, did you? I'm in my DMs right now. No, I responded. Oh, you sent me that cool Japanese wedding ceremony kimono thing. I forgot about that. That thing is so cool. Yeah, no, we're fine. Okay, cool. Just checking. Just checking. All right. If you have been lurking this whole time, you obviously are having somewhat of a good time. There's a Discord invite in the chat. Join. Go lurk there and don't talk. That's fine too. Or talk. You can obviously talk. Oh my God, I'm gonna stop. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care of yourself. Do something nice for yourself and someone else. And call it a day. All right. I'll see you guys on Friday, okay? Bye.